Number 1, out of 40 students, 14 are taking English composition and 29 are taking chemistry. If 5 students are in both classes, how many students are in neither class? Build a Venn diagram that represents these students. Then fill in the table. So if I want to build a Venn diagram, I need to have a couple of circles because I had a couple of categories of people. And one category was English, and I'm going to dub that E. And the other category was chemistry, and I'm going to dub that C. We said there are 40 students altogether, so my universe has 40 students. 5 students are in both classes, so that means they belong here in this intersection. And then let's just think about chemistry. So this whole chemistry circle, do we know how many students? We do. It says 29 are taking chemistry. Now that's not 29 here in the circle. It's not, because that would make it 34 students altogether taking chemistry, and we said there's only 29. So we have to reduce this a little bit to make it fit the description up above. So we'll do 29 minus 5, or 24 students just taking chemistry. 5 of those 5 other students are taking chemistry and English at the same time. So 24 plus 5, that's going to give me the 29 that was described above. Now similarly, we want to think about the English composition. It says 14 are taking English composition. So if 5 of those 14 are already showing here, then we have to do 14 minus 5, or 9 students are taking just English, not English and chemistry together. Okay, and then now that I know those numbers, I can add them up. So I have 9 plus 5 plus 24. And that's going to be 13, 18, so 38 students. So in my 2 circles, I'm accounting for 38 of those students. We said that there were 40 students altogether. That means 2 students are out here in the universe not taking either chemistry nor English. And that was one of our questions, how many students are in neither class? It's actually two students. So let's look down at this chart here, and we can use our Venn diagram definitely to help us on this. We want to know chemistry or English, so anyone who's taking chemistry or English, and to write it in set logic, we would write it as chemistry, or we would use the union symbol, and then English. We could also write it as English or chemistry. Those are completely equivalent. And then the frequency, so how many students are taking chemistry or English or both, is the way that you interpret this. So when you're looking at this, the mathematical language using or, we're talking about chemistry or English or both. So when we label it like that, it makes it more clear that we're talking about the sum of these 3 numbers, which we happened to already do over here. We know this, the frequency, or the how many times, is going to be 38. Let's look at English and chemistry. Now when you see and, that is telling you intersection, and the or is telling you union. So you need to memorize those 2. And tells you intersection, so this one would be written as E and C, or you could also write it C and E. They're equivalent. Okay, and then when we do that, we want to figure out how many students is that. So when we're talking about the intersection, or the and, we're talking about just the students who have both of the English and chemistry in this case. So just the part in the middle there. And so that's going to be 5. Okay, and then we have just a frequency, and we have to figure out what the set logic is for it and what the description would be. So let's see if we can figure it out. We have 11. So we want to think, how can we add up some of these numbers that we have showing and come up with 11? Well, I see a 9, and that's kind of close, so I'm thinking maybe that one will get me there. If I do 9 and 2, these two together, those will give me 11. So I'm thinking I want this area, the outside of the circle, and this part here, because all those together will add up to 11. And now that I've shaded it in, I can kind of see that what I'm talking about is everything that is not inside of the C circle. So it's a knot C. And I can show it this way, knot C, or I can show it as C complement. Either of those two ways is perfectly accurate, and we would say knot, whenever my pen starts writing, knot chemistry. And that's the way that we'll get an 11, 9, 10, 11 for our frequency. Okay, now the next one, this one we have not E union C. So if I look at E union C, let me see if I can clear up some of these lines that I drew in for us. Well, I cleared up too many there. There we go, and see if I can put back in that box. Maybe. There we go. So now this time I'm looking at E union C, and remember that was everything in here. That was this whole region here. And if I'm saying not the union, then it's everything outside that's not shaded at the moment. So for the not shaded part, we can see right away it's just those two that are out there in the universe. And we would say neither, oh my goodness, neither English nor chemistry. If you were going to say that in English, that's how you would say it.